Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be my video on the dangers of a spiritual path, self-immolation, suicide, and dying for a cause. And this came about because Kelly Z. Palm asked a question. Can you talk about what you think of Cheech Quing, whatever's actions on self-immolation and trying to get into the mind of him and answer what level of meditation it requires to do such an act? And if you don't know what self-immolation is, it's basically you put gasoline on yourself and set yourself on fire. So obviously you're going to be dealing with a lot of pain and dying and that kind of stuff. So, and there's a Buddhist monk, I think, that did that over in Europe. I didn't even know what it was. I'd never heard of it before, so I had to look it up. And you see this too with like Jesus, and you see it also with soldiers, people dying for a cause. And if you want to get into the mind of it, really this is basically what it all boils down to. It's just like pure ego is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like ego's gone mad, and it's really and so he said, what level of meditation does it require, or where's your mind at in the spiritual journey? And basically, it's a medium level. It's a point where you're down here, but you're trying to get to here, and somewhere down to here, you get screwed up on ego. You don't know how to handle that level of ego, and it winds up getting you killed. You die for a cause, and you see that with Jesus too. I mean, he got caught up, and he really, if you start really reading the Bible and you start really understanding, once you start understanding for yourself and you read the Bible, you're like, holy crap, that guy just failed to conquer that level of ego. And you hear people say, oh, it's what's greater to die for your friend or cause. It's not about dying for your cause, it's about living for your cause. Dying's easy, living for something is hard. So don't get caught up in that BS. Let me just mark some stuff out. That's that. As usual, got my poster notes here and stuff on my dry erase board. Okay, yes, it's greater to live for the cause and die for it. And again, you see it with soldiers and stuff. And really, if you want to know what it's all about, it really boils down to one thing: a lack of wisdom and insight to solve a problem. Like, let's take the Buddhist monk. I think the reason he did it, or at least one of the reasons they do it, is like during Vietnam, they protesting the war, so they, light yourself up in gasoline and kill yourself to draw attention. And really, again, it's a lack of insight and wisdom to solve the problem. You see it with Jesus too. I mean, he didn't have to kill himself to get people's attention. If he'd have just lived and keep preaching the truth and try to, and move to higher levels of, lack of ego, it'd still be, he would have lived and had more words to say. And so really, at the end of the day, it's just nothing but a lack of wisdom and insight. And again, if you're on a spiritual path, you might run into that same problem yourself, because you just get to where you don't, excuse my language, you just don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't like the way the world works. And again, it's a lot of times because people don't like the way the world works, and they haven't come to the realization that the world is perfect and it's you that needs to change. So instead, they're willing to do egotistical things like kill themselves and do crazy crap. And you see it too with Muslims a lot, just dying for their cause and stuff. And again, you see it everywhere. So it's really a lack of wisdom and insight. Okay, and again, at the higher levels, it's nothing but a lack of harmony with the essence of life. Again, I've always, as I point out in the Falling Away of Growth, which is first link in the information section of the video, it all boils down to growth. All spirituality boils down to growth. So, and really, killing yourself by putting gasoline on yourself is not really about growth. That's, it's the opposite of growth. It's destruction. And again, that's nothing but ego. However, it doesn't matter what you do, the universe will still use you for growth. I mean, right now, I'm talking about it and educating people, so I'm helping people grow from that guy's mistake. So, really, at the end of the day, whatever you do, the universe is going to use you up to help people grow. So it's sort of like a tree falling down the woods. Even if it's young and healthy, it's still going to die and feed the rest of them. So in a way, it doesn't matter, in a way, it does matter. But again, it's ego based. Like I say, you see it too for dying for a cause. And Mother Teresa got caught up in this too at the very beginning. My mom was telling me this story, so I haven't actually read it, but supposing Mother Teresa was like, I won't eat before they eat, and the head nun goes, no, you're going to eat first, because if you're not healthy, you won't be able to feed those people. And so, even Mother Teresa got caught up in it. So don't don't get caught up in the ego head trip. You know what I'm saying? To be like me right now, I'm gonna die for following girls because I know it needs to be said. I know it needs to be done. First and foremost, the real goal of a spiritual path is for you to personally grow, not to get frustrated. And a lot of times on a spiritual path, what happens is you're able to see more. You're able to see more of life, and you don't like what you see, and you're not able to move through it. And Lao Tzu said, happiness is rooted in misery, and misery lurks just beneath happiness. So every level I go to, I'm able to see more and see how people really aren't, how they hurt people and how their actions, you're starting to see all the connections, and sometimes it can be very nasty to see, and it takes time to work through all those emotions. So basically, these kind of people get caught up in some kind of middle ground where they see the problem, but they haven't learned how to get over it and accept the world is perfect and it's them that needs to change. And it's a very dangerous, it's a very dangerous place to be, really. And sometimes people kill themselves they're just numb. They don't like the way the world is. They're just numb to, it's just like, just numb to life and don't care. And again, it's just been you can be out of harmony enough that you don't care. And I've been to that spot where I didn't care, and I wasn't on a spiritual path. My life just got to where it's completely miserable, and I just didn't care to die. It was like, why not? Okay, sometimes too, in the middle way, in the middle of your spiritual journey, getting back to harmony, you may realize, you may start seeing everything and realize that you're not really that great a person, and you don't have the capacity and the skills to change the world through your spiritual path because you just ain't that great a person. I mean, you just weren't born with the talents. Even if you meditate and do everything right, that you still just ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's part of it too. But it's all ego based at the end of the day. And again, I've mentioned this many times throughout this. What level of meditation? It's really a low level state or middle level of meditation. It ain't really the deepest levels, because at the deepest levels you realize everything's energy. You don't take it personally, and since you don't take it personally, you ain't gonna die for cause. There's no reason for it. You know what I'm saying? And again, and you see this too with people who haven't evolved as much. They'll get exploited, and they wind up killing themselves. I can't remember what. I know what book it was. Is The People's History. I think it's The People's History is the name of it. I think it's Christopher Columbus or somebody like that. When they first come to America, they met these one people on this island. It's like, I think 500,000 of them. Really good people, as far as, good and evil goes. And the white man just basically exploited those people, and eventually a lot of the people there, they were used to such a good life that they just started committing suicide because they couldn't handle the new world that was coming to them. And I mean, I can understand their situation, but I don't know. It's a lot of frustration with the way the world is, and so I think that answers it. Until the next video, later, folks.